Hello, I'm Pastor Joe, and I want to welcome you to Impacts. Impacts is a video teaching series where I try to help nurture your faith in, your commitment to, and your relationship with Jesus Christ by offering you some practical helps, tips, and ideas for your daily walk of faith. You know, as men, one of the stereotypes we have happens here in the car. We're known for not wanting to stop and ask for directions. But if truth be told, that is not an issue related only to those of us who are male. And it's not only related ultimately to being in a car. I think most of us are reluctant to ask for help in all areas of life. And that's what I want us to spend a few minutes talking about today. So come on, let's get started. You know, Angela and I used to love to watch the show Tool Time with Tim Allen. And there's one episode where Tim and Jill are going to a wedding. The problem is Tim doesn't know how to get there, and he refuses to stop and ask for directions. They get so lost, they end up in a snowstorm in the wrong state, and they miss the wedding, all because Tim won't stop and ask for directions until it's too late. A lot of us have a similar problem. And we may not have problems with directions, but we have a hard time stopping to ask for directions. We don't like to stop and ask for directions. We don't like to ask other people advice on things in our life. We don't like to ask for assistance when we need it. We don't like to admit that we don't know something or can't do something. Our society values strength and independence. The problem is, as believers in Jesus Christ, as followers of Christ, that is not a biblical way of living. You know, when we turn to the book of Proverbs, to the 3rd chapter, verses 5 and 6, we read, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." You see, we're challenged in Scripture to turn to God and to trust God. And we need to do that. I mean, God gave us a lot of abilities. He gave us the ability to think and to reason, but He also calls us to turn to Him. To go to Him in prayer with decisions that we're facing, with problems that we are experiencing. When we're not sure where to turn, we need to go to Him. You know, often, if we go back to the stereotype of men not wanting to ask directions, stopping to ask for directions is often a step of last resort. But as Christians, turning to God and seeking His leading and His understanding should not be a step of last resort, but it should be the very first thing that we do. Then we're living biblically. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to humbly come before God and to trust in Him. Lean on His understanding. Come before Him with your decisions that you need to make, with things you're struggling with, maybe problems you are experiencing. In all that you face in life, make your conversation with God about it the first thing that you do and not the last. Well, look, I do want to thank you for joining me this week for Impacts. I hope that it's been helpful. If you haven't already, it won't take but just a minute, but subscribe to my channel. There's a little button down below that you can hit, and you can also then click on the bell icon, and anytime I post a new video, you'll get a notification of that. I also want to encourage you to share this video with others so that they can be nurtured in their walk with Christ as well. Well, look, I hope that you will join me next week for the next Impacts video, and until then, I continue to pray that God's blessings will be with you.